MiradiShare is a new multi-organization online project database. Version 1.0 will be launched in May 2014, but there are already over 100 projects from a number of conservation organizations and government agencies. If you don't already have a free MiradiShare account, click on the Login button in the top right and follow the instructions to set up a new account. I already have an account, so I'm going to click on Login. At the top of the page, you'll see a list of programs in MiradiShare. This includes the public community library, where anyone can share their Miradi projects even without a program level account. There's also the CAMEL program, an open source library containing theory of change diagrams, illustrative outcomes, and indicators for some of the most common conservation actions. I'm going to select the Nature Conservancy program. Currently 18 projects for TNC in MiradiShare, including 6 that are publicly accessible, available to anyone, 8 that are available to other TNC staff, and 4 that are only available to the immediate project team. The number of TNC projects in MiradiShare will be growing by hundreds because TNC is retiring its ConPro database and moving project records to MiradiShare. You can review individual project information by clicking on the project name, then using the Explore pull-down menu, where you'll see a number of different views for exploring information about this project. For example, if I click on Diagrams, I'll see a list of the conceptual model diagrams. These describe the situation analysis that served as the basis for strategy selection. I can also see the results chain diagrams. These describe the theory of change, linking strategies and activities through the intermediate results to the desired goals and objectives. Let's look at the viability assessment view. You'll see target, key ecological attribute, indicator rating information here. If I scroll down, you'll see that there are a total of 55 rows in this viability table. You can control how many rows are visible at any one time with this command, and page forward and back with the buttons or previous next on the right. You can search through the entire viability table by using the search field on top, or you can search through any of the individual columns by using the search fields at the top of each column. For example, if I wanted to only look at the key ecological attributes associated with size, I type in size and I see the list filtered to only the size rows. If I wanted to look for indicators that address issues involving dams, I could type in dam and it would filter the list to look at only those indicators. If I wanted to look at the key ecological attributes and indicators in need of restoration, I could enter poor and it would filter the list to only those rows. So you can see you have a highly interactive way of viewing the target viability information. The Edit and Manage buttons provide you the ability to download to Miradi and to control access in terms of public or private access. In addition to viewing information about individual projects, MiradiShare also supports the ability to look across projects via program level reports. For example, I'll use the pull-down menu to select the Strategies and Activities report. We are looking at the strategies and activities for all TNC projects in MiradiShare. If you look at the bottom, you'll see that there are a total of 927 strategy and activity rows. You can control the number of rows that you view at any one time using this pull down, and you can scroll forward and backward through different pages using the controls on the right. I can search across all fields in this table by using the topmost search field. For example, if I put in the word climate, you will find climate in any of the fields, including strategy name, as you see here, or over here, and activity name. If I scroll to the bottom, you'll see that there are 65 entries that match our search criteria of climate, including some of our global and regional priority projects. Instead of searching across all fields, I can use search fields at the top of any one of these columns. For example, if I can only remember some fragment of a project name, like Ag Watershed, I can start typing that name, and it will pull up all of the rows for that particular project, in this case 58 entries. You'll see that many of the strategies have been coded to globally published IUCN standard classification labels. So if I only wanted to look at strategies and activities that deal with legislation, I could start typing the word legislation, and you'll see that the table will be filtered. And if I look at the bottom, you'll see that there are 10 entries for this particular project that deal with legislation. Over on the right, you can see the activity names and the progress status and progress status dates associated with those strategies and activities. If I clear the project name filter but leave the standard classification filter in place, you'll see that there are 17 rows coded with legislation across all of the projects in the table. I've been showing an example of the tabular display of data. You can also view progress rating information in an interactive graphical report by clicking on the chart button on the top right. Here you can see a list of all of the TNC projects. You can see that some of them contain progress rating information at the strategy level. For example, for North America Energy Program, you can see that there are a total of 5 strategies listed, 1 coded yellow for minor issues and 4 coded light green for being on track. If only part of the name is displayed, you can position the cursor over it and hover text will show you the full project. I can drill down into these progress ratings in 2 different ways described with these labels at the top of the chart. First, I can click on the project name, and I'll click on Salmon River, and a table will pop up showing the names of each of the strategies grouped by their status. You can see one strategy is listed as planned, a couple with minor issues, and a number of them that are on track. I'll close this table to go back to the main chart. Second, I can click anywhere on the color-coded bar and see a list of all the strategies with a breakdown on how the status of their activities are doing. For example, you can see on the Restore Australian habitats that there are 5 planned activities and another 3 that are on track. Clicking on this bar will bring up the activity information for that strategy. I'll close this to go back to the main chart. If project teams have been tracking indicator measurements, you can also check on progress towards achieving stated goals and objectives using another report. I'll click on the final report here. I'll pull up the project rows for a landscape project I know has performance measurement data monitoring the recovery of a federally threatened butterfly called the Oregon silverspot. Entering silverspot in the search field immediately filters the list. You can see the stated goals and objectives, indicator measurement and date, and desired future value and date. The federal recovery plan calls for a running mean index of over 500, also shown on the far right. You can see that the most recent indicator measurement data, almost 2,000 butterflies, far exceeds that. So things are going pretty well for this threatened species. If I click on the eye icon on the far left, I can see the full history of indicator measurements for this indicator, starting with the most recent value that we saw in the main table. But if I scroll down, you'll see this indicator has been measured for a number of years. It dipped down to a low of 99 back in 2004, prior to a captive rearing strategy being implemented, leading to a major conservation success story for this species. If I click on the chart icon at the top right of this dialog box, I can see a graphical display of the indicator measurements, where they started back in 1989, that dip that I showed in the table, and then the most recent information relative to the desired future value. So that's a very quick look at Miradi Share and some of the project level and program level support or reports that are available. For TNC staff, using Miradi gives you the benefit of uploading to the Conservancy's Conservation Information Hub to tie in with other TNC information systems, and without any additional work, also take advantage of the reporting capabilities of Miradi Share.